Listen, do you hear that? But what if we could replace it all with a single unified noise? What would really happen if every single person on Earth screamed at exactly the same time? Let's start with the sound itself. How loud would it be? A single human scream is around 110 decibels, which is already loud enough to cause hearing damage with prolonged exposure. Now, multiply that by 8 billion people. Our collective scream would produce a sound wave of about 200 decibels. This number is difficult to even imagine. It's louder than a rocket launch. It's louder than any sound ever officially recorded on Earth. For the unlucky souls standing in the most densely populated areas, like a crowded city square, the immediate effect would be catastrophic. A sound wave of 200 decibels isn't just a sound anymore. It's a physical force. It's a blast wave. The sheer pressure would rupture the eardrums of everyone nearby, instantly and permanently. Windows in surrounding buildings would shatter. Lighter, unsecured objects, like loose papers or empty cans, would be sent flying, as if hit by a sudden violent gust of wind. But hearing loss would be the least of your worries. This wall of sound pressure would vibrate through your entire body. The intense vibrations could potentially cause internal damage to your organs, especially your lungs. In the loudest hotspots, the sound wave could even be lethal, causing a deadly embolism in the bloodstream. Similar to what happens in a bomb blast, our 1-second global chorus would result in millions of spontaneous, simultaneous deaths in the world's megacities. But what about the rest of the planet? The sound would travel outwards from populated areas, like a ripple in a pond. If you were lucky enough to be standing in a remote desert, you would be safe from the lethal blast wave, but you wouldn't be safe from the sound. Minutes later, a terrifying, deafening roar would arrive. A sound unlike anything you've ever heard. It would sound like the sky itself was tearing apart. Every animal on the planet with ears would be terrified into a global stampede. Birds would fall from the sky in shock. The entire planet's ecosystem would be thrown into a state of temporary, panicked chaos. And could this scream damage the planet itself? The energy from our scream is immense, but the Earth is much, much bigger. Could it trigger an earthquake? Unlikely. The energy, while massive for us, would dissipate too quickly into the crust to trigger a major fault line. The ground beneath your feet might vibrate slightly, but our planet is built to withstand far greater forces. The more interesting question is what happens upwards. Would this sound reach space? Well, yes and no. Sound needs a medium to travel, so it can't travel through the vacuum of space. However, the powerful blast wave from our collective scream would slam into the atmosphere, creating a huge ripple, a pressure wave that would travel all the way to the edge of space. Satellites in low Earth orbit would register a massive, planet-wide atmospheric tremor. For a brief moment, to the most sensitive instruments, it would look as if the entire planet had shuddered. But let's take this one step further into the absurd. What if we could sustain the scream? If all 8 billion of us could scream for a full minute, the energy output would be astronomical. The sonic vibrations would be so intense they could theoretically begin to liquefy softer ground, like sand or mud. The heat generated from the sound energy alone would start to have a noticeable effect, slightly increasing the temperature of the air around us. And if we could somehow scream for a full day, the constant planet-wide vibration would be like putting the Earth's crust in a giant blender. It would almost certainly trigger every single fault line, leading to a non-stop global earthquake of apocalyptic proportions. The planet wouldn't crack in half, but the surface would become a churning, uninhabitable hellscape, all powered by our own voices. So, a 1-second scream would be a deadly, chaotic disaster. Anything longer, and we'd be singing our own planet into oblivion.